Hi there, and welcome to Still Learning. I'm your host, Fortune Fowle, and if you're new here, welcome to a space that's all about progression, not perfection. The fact that we are becoming people, which means we have not arrived at who we are meant to be yet, but we are just getting to our destination. And so I invite you into this space and happy Still Learning Monday. Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Still Learning. I hope that your day and your week has been great and is off to a great start. And if it hasn't been, I hope that it gets better. I hope that we are all enjoying this nicer weather that we're getting as spring approaches us. And honestly, I am in dire need of some nicer weather. I love that my days are longer, that the sun is out. I really need that right now. And especially for what we're going to be talking about today, because I think that today's episode, to be honest with you guys, is just a check-in. Let's check in. Let's talk about what's currently going on right now, how I've been feeling, what I've been navigating, because I definitely need a check-in. And this is again another prompting of me to find a therapist quicker because I have been on the edge of burnout. That is something that I have been dealing with, and I want to be open and transparent with you guys about that I have just been struggling like and I've and it's really hard to say that I'm struggling when I have so many great things happening in my life. Like, it doesn't make sense that I'm struggling. Like, I can't lie, I grow frustration with myself and I kind of invalidate my own feelings and what I'm going through because I'm like, Fortune, so many great things and opportunities are happening for you and you are embracing so many amazing things. Like, this is your year of saying yes and doing and not just thinking. Why do you feel like you're struggling? Why do you feel burdened? Why do you feel overwhelmed? Like, this should be so exciting for you, and that's all you should feel. And so I think when I got really real with myself, especially at the end of last week, I think I was very much hanging by a thread. And I just sat with myself and I was like, I'm tired, and I've been tired. Like, I have been saying, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. I can't even count how many times I've been saying I'm tired. And I said it enough times where I was like, okay, this isn't normal. It's okay every once in a while to be tired and to be exhausted. That's life. Like, sometimes life is just tiring and it's about bouncing back and getting back on your feet. But the thing is, I was struggling to even get back on my feet. And I think because I wasn't doing the first step of acknowledging that I have fallen off or that I was a bit shaken, that was a bit unsteady. I hadn't made that acknowledgement for myself yet. And so we can't even start talking about bouncing back if we're not even talking about how we are already fallen right now or close to falling. And so I really had to sit with myself and be like, you are tired and you have been overexerting yourself and your capacity is not where it needs to be for all the fun and exciting things that you have going on in your life. I think a part of me wanted to fully put the blame on the fact that I am on a rotating schedule and that is why I'm so tired. And that is part of the reason. It's not easy being on a rotating schedule. And for you guys who don't know what that necessarily is and work more of a 9 to 5, or that isn't usually your work schedule, when I say I work rotating schedules, I work both day and night shifts. And so I work like 2 weeks nights. This time in my schedule cycle, I'm working 3 weeks nights, and then I work 4 weeks days or 3 weeks days, and it goes back and forth. I try to condense like all my days together and then all my nights together. But with that being said, me having a rotating schedule, my circadian rhythm is pretty jacked up, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there is no consistency in my sleep pattern. And that is a very new thing for me because I am someone since I don't even know middle school who's just had a regimented sleep schedule. I don't know who ingrained this in me, because I don't even think my parents necessarily really enforced that within me. Like, they didn't give me a bedtime. Like, I gave myself a bedtime. And so I very much was someone who went to bed early, goes to bed at a certain time, wakes up early, like, and I've been doing that for years. And it's great for my profession because I have to wake up really early anyway. But with this rotating schedule, there has been no set pattern with my sleep. It's all over the place. Like, I'm sleeping when I'm working nights, I'm sleeping maybe 5-6 hours during the day, like 7 if I'm lucky. And then during the days, because that gets thrown off because I was just sleeping this weird schedule during the day for nights, and now I'm back on days, and like I'm getting somewhat like 7 hours of sleep. And I know some people are like, Fortune, 7 hours, like, be so for real, because people are out here in the world getting 4 hours. But I'm telling you guys, for me, like, I really try to get 8 hours of sleep, but that's not even enough for me. I am someone who needs 10 hours of sleep. And actually, new studies find that women need 10 hours of sleep, and the whole that 8 hours of sleep thing, that was a study based on men. So I need 10 hours of sleep every single day. Am I getting that? No, but I am someone who thoroughly needs sleep, because me, when I don't have sleep, is not a fun Fortune. Like, she's not cute at all. And I'm not rude. I'm not cranky. I'm just quiet. Like, I'm just very quiet, even more withdrawn than usual, because I'm just so tired. So I think I was blaming my tiredness so much on that. I was like, "Ugh, that's why I'm so exhausted." But that wasn't the full case. Like, that was part of it, but it wasn't the entirety of it. And I had to really be like, okay, Fortune, like, there's more to this, because you are not just physically exhausted, you're also mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted, and your physical exhaustion is now impacting your spiritual life and causing you to be spiritually exhausted as well. And I hate that, because I really love the Lord. I love Jesus. I love the time that I spend with him. And I don't want that to become, I don't want to hinder that, or I don't want to bring disruption to that. It's very important to me. And it was just because I was not prioritizing me. I was saying yes to all these things, but I wasn't saying yes to myself. And I wasn't saying yes to sleep. I wasn't saying yes to just sitting out this one. I wasn't saying yes to just relaxing and being in bed. Like, it actually really caused me just stress when I thought about how it had been a really long time since I just like was watching shows, catching up on my shows, catching up on my movies, catching up on my YouTubers. Like, I was just doing things for my personal enjoyment. It had been a really long time that I just was spending time doing things that I enjoy that weren't related to building something, that weren't related to developing further in my editing skills, my creative passions, which, don't get me wrong, those bring me joy and make me happy. I love doing the podcast, and I love being able to show up for this every single week and be consistent with it. It's very something I'm proud of, and something that I am very grateful that I'm able to steward this platform. And all the opportunities that I have in my life are not opportunities in my life that I know that I cannot handle. God has gifted them to me, and I want to steward them very faithfully, and I want to do out them. And God knows my heart with that, and he gives me the strength to do so. But he's also like, you need to also steward yourself well as well. Like, I started slipping up on stewarding my time properly, because I thought that stewarding my time properly was ensuring that I am filling my day with busyness and work, work, work. And it's good work. It's work that God has tasked me to do, but I also need to steward my time by factoring time for myself and for enjoyment. I wasn't really giving myself the moment to just process what these opportunities were, what I was doing, and really enjoy them in real time. I was just thinking ahead of the next project I have to do, what I need to complete next, the next editing task I need to have done. And there's real work that goes behind these things. Like, having a podcast, there's real work that goes behind this, especially since I am a one woman. Actually, no, I'm not a woman show because I have God with me and everything. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I am the one doing the editing and creating and the graphics, and I love doing that stuff. It's a lot of fun. It pushes my creative boundaries, and I'm doing things that I did not expect myself to do. Even the amazing collective and group of people that I'm a part of, and we're hosting events, that is so exciting. And like, I'm honestly really shocked by the reception that we've been getting, but that's also taking time as like editing and creating and being a creative director, which insane that I would even say that. I never thought that I would be saying that ever. And so that's what I mean. These are great and amazing things, and like things that I never thought that I would be able to be doing or experience or achieve. And so saying all of that, it sounds great and it is great, but I don't feel great. And that was hard for me because I didn't want to seem ungrateful for what I was experiencing and what I was doing. Like, I am honored, truly honored, but I also need to honor myself with rest. I need to honor myself with enjoyment, because I think that's one of the ways that what you want, you can go to hate what you once loved, by not taking that time to really process everything that you're doing, enjoy it, live in it. Like, don't think about the next thing you have to do or get done, and also taking that time for yourself. And so last week I was like, I am on the edge of burning out. I'm not burnt out yet. And it helps to talk about it. It helps to talk about with yourself, with God, and with your friends. It helps to let them know, this is where I'm at right now. I'm running on what, 20, 30, 50% of fuel, and acknowledging that for yourself. And then what are we going to do? What are we going to do about that? Because I can either keep letting myself get to this point where I do burn out, or I can change something, because being on the edge is not the worst place you can be, because it means you haven't fallen just yet. Like, there's still a chance to back up and escape the ledge, to walk back off of it. There is still a chance here. And so being on the edge, guys, is not the worst part of burning out, or almost burning out. It's the almost. And so I was like, I'm almost there, but I'm not there. So there is light at the end of the tunnel here if I decide to walk in it. And so I was like, I need to just start choosing me. I need to start saying yes to my hobbies and things that bring me enjoyment, and laying in bed. I need to get back to working out, because to be honest with you guys, I wasn't being as consistent as I could have been the last 2 weeks. And today was my first time like back in the gym in a minute. And when I say a minute, it wasn't crazy long time, but I really try to make it a consistent thing for me, because not only does it help with my physical health, but also just my mental health. And so I was like, I need to get back to taking care of myself physically in that way, like not just rest, but also physically, like well-being is important. And my sleep is still something I'm working on. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's still something I'm working on, because I am on this rotating schedule. So it's really hard to have a consistent routine sleep pattern. But maybe one of the things I can do is becoming a napper. I'm not a napper, and I've never been a natural napper a day in my life. Like, not that I don't nap or have not taken naps in my lifetime. I have, but I am just someone who's like, why nap when I can do something else? And maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. So implementing naps more in my life, even at work now, when I work a night shift, on my breaks, I'm like, let's try to get in like a 30-minute, 45-minute power nap, because I need that. And just listening to my body more in that sense. That's what I need to do right now. And it's not even about me doing all of this so I can get back to being like 100% an optimal working, functioning, and capacity, right? That is unrealistic, and that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes you are going to be working at 60% of yourself, and that is okay. You got to give yourself grace for that, but I don't want that to be my baseline. I don't want 60% to be my baseline. I want to be able to continuously rise back up to that 100%. And when I'm going down, knowing when I need to refuel. If I'm on 80%, okay, we can go for a little bit longer. But if I'm like running at like 60, 50, 40%, and this is becoming a consistent thing, that means I need to take time away to refuel. I was like, I need to do that. And so that's really what this is about, and me just talking to you guys today about is just like, I'm on the edge of burnout, but I don't have to stay there. What are the things that we can do to get us back to that optimal level of self of 100%? How do we refuel ourselves? And so I have been doing little steps like that. Like, I started watching my shows again, catching up on them. And I watched this new show that my nail tech, she introduced me to, called The Hunting Party. And I just dedicated myself to watching that, maybe like an episode a day, whatever it needed to be. Because, maybe I can't fully binge watch in a sitting everything, because I don't have the time for that. But one episode a day, 1 hour a day, even when I've been waking up in the morning or waking up to get ready for work, if it's a night shift, what I've been doing now is actually just watching one of my shows or watching a YouTube video. I feel like before I would like try to get little work done or try to like respond to like emails or text messages that I received. But I was like, no. Take this little window of time just to not be, not, I don't say not be there, but just to be present and enjoying life right now. I'm eating, watching my little show, like prepare myself, because I have the rest of the night or the rest of the day to be working and to be diligent. Take this hour or so for yourself. And I think it's about taking back that time for myself, because I think I've just given away all my time to dedicate to all this work that I'm doing and these projects that I'm doing. And it's great and it's exciting, but I am not going to do well or steward these projects well if I'm not taking care of myself. I think in me making those little changes this last week has been so helpful. I feel so much better, honestly, guys. Like, I feel so much better. I feel like my mood is a lot more elevated. I feel like I'm able to really invest with people more, because even that was starting to drain me, like my social battery. Like, I really wanted to get to know people better and spend time with people, but I was like, I don't have the capacity right now. And I want to honor your time and my own time. And so I need to spend time with myself first. Before I start spending time with people, I need to spend time with me. And I was able to do that this past weekend. And so when my friend came over last night, like I didn't feel like my battery was draining or was taking a lot of me. Like I felt very much like I was still being rejuvenated, and it was just so good, and it brought me contentment. And it's just finding those things that recharge you and not drain you. That's the most important thing, that are not taking from you more than you already have lost, but are just adding into you further. And I just think I've gotten to this point where, like, even when it comes to spending time with people or making plans with people, stop trying to make them so extravagant. Stop trying to be like, oh, let's go to this major event. Let's go to this outing. Like, do you actually just want to come over? Like, do you just want to chill? And of course, that's not going to be all the time, but like, do you just want to chill and like chat? Is that cool? Like, do you just want to go take a walk? Because I love to take walks. Do you just want to go grocery shopping? Like, do you just want to check out this coffee shop that we've never been to before and just sit and chat, sip on a matcha, because I don't really drink coffee? Like, it does not need to be this crazy, extravagant thing that takes so much out of you. Like, I think I'm learning to balance that as well. And that's really been helping, taking those little steps for myself. Even this week, like, I finished up my shifts for the week, and so I have a couple days off, and I'm just taking it day by day. I'm trying not to jump so much ahead of all the things that I need to get done, all the things that needs to happen, but what needs to be done today? What is my daily bread for today? Because the Lord gives us daily bread each day. That is enough. That will sustain us for today. And I think what I was trying to do, oh, and this is so good because it just came to me right now. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I think what I was trying to do, and the Israelites to this, is that they didn't necessarily trust God for their provision every single day. That bread was going to continuously be coming down for them, because the Lord would tell them to eat their daily bread and not try to save it for the next day. If they try to save it for the next day, it would be rotten. And they wouldn't listen because they were afraid, or they were fearful that maybe there won't be bread tomorrow. And so they would try to save the bread from the previous day and bring it into their next day. And they would find it spoiled. And I think what I was trying to do is that I was trying to portion the daily bread that God gave me. And I was just taking half of it and try to save the other half for the next day, but it would spoil and it wouldn't be enough for me to carry me for the next day or the day after. I was trying to carry over something that was never meant to be carried. I was trying to carry over this daily bread and make it a tomorrow bread, a Tuesday bread, a Wednesday bread, a Thursday bread, when it was just a today bread. This is only lasting me for today. And we talked about this in church this past week about God gives you what you need. He's an expert in what you need and not what you want. And I very much was like, I need to really consume this daily bread that he's giving me. What is in me for today? And that doesn't mean don't plan ahead. That doesn't mean be aware and have insight of what your next duties and responsibilities are for the next coming weeks. Like, I'm not saying forget that. Have that in the back of your mind and lean into today, your present, because tomorrow isn't promised to you. And I was just getting so caught up in what was happening today, tomorrow, next week, all these things. I was getting so overwhelmed, and I was stretching myself then because I was trying to reach into tomorrow, reach into next week, because I'm like, I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to be unprepared. But in doing that, I was training myself. And I was pushing myself to this point that almost could have led to like no return. Like, almost could have been like, oh, we're in trouble. And I'm grateful that the Lord like had me sit down and be like, girl, you are riding on a thin line right now. You are just on the edge, but I'm here to catch. And that's why God is so good, guys. Okay, because it's in the Psalms, and it's one of my favorite verses. So I'm really upset right now that I can't remember the exact verse, but it's in the Psalms where it talks about how even if he falls, right? The psalmist says, even when I fall, like your hand is there to catch me under. Like, so you will be at the very edge. You can even fall and God's hand would be right underneath to catch you. And so I'm at the edge and God's hand is very there to pull me back and be like, my daughter, let's reconvene. It's time to reconvene. And doing that has been so helpful for me. And I feel like I am doing a lot better now because I am like, what is my daily bread for today? And it's helped me spiritually. Just not that I felt disconnected from God. I think I was just falling back into little habits of my type A self of trying to control everything and forgetting that I didn't give myself these opportunities and these amazing things that I'm doing now. God did. And so the outcome of these things will be God, and I can't control the outcome. And even what is even happening in the in-betweens, it's just about stewarding it faithfully and trusting God through the process, leaning on God in the process, being dependent on the Lord in the process. And I started becoming dependent on my own strength to sustain me through the thing that God has given me. I came across this video on Instagram, and she said something along the lines that your calling is too much for you because it's God's calling over your life. And when she said that, it really dawned on me that I was like, oh, no, my calling is too much for me. It actually makes sense that it's too much for me, and it's why I can't rely on my own strength. It's why I can't do it on my own, because if my calling was just on par, was just at my level, then why would I need God? No, my calling needs to be greater than me, because if it's greater than me, then I have to go to the one who's also greater than me, and that's the Lord, to be able to walk out and fulfill that calling. And so a part of what was leading me to be on this edge of this burnout is that I stopped leaning on the one who even gave me all of this. I stopped depending on him. I need his strength, because this, I'm not gonna lie, I am being stretched thin. It is a lot on my plate. And I'm like, God, how can I do all this? How can I balance all this? All of these things you've given me. And he's like, with me. Get back to relying and depending on me. Get back to seeking me for your strength. I will renew your strength. You just haven't been asking me to. And now I'm humbled. Now I'm humbled because I'm like, you're right. I literally need my strength renewed. I can go to the one who renews my strength, leads me beside still waters and leads me in green pastures. I literally can go to him, ask him to renew my strength, and he will do that. Like, God is not asking me to balance all the things he's given me by myself. He's asking me to allow him to hold it within his hands and just trust him in it. Like, that is it. That is it. I gotta let it go. I gotta let it go. I'm not stewing this. I'm not walking this. I'm not doing this on my own. He's with me through it all. And I gotta remember that. And because that is what's gonna see me through. That is what's gonna sustain me. I cannot sustain myself. Other people cannot sustain me. Only God, the ultimate sustainer, can sustain me through all of this. And so when I started locking back in on that, when I was like, whoa, we lost the plot a little bit, fortunate. I had to lock back in on that, and it has been refreshing, a fresh wind. As my friend told me today on the phone, she said, I have experienced a fresh wind, because we were both kind of going through the same thing. And she's like, I have experienced a fresh wind. And truly, I have experienced a fresh wind. And it's not that there won't be points where I get a little winded, but I can again experience a fresh wind. I can again experience a revival. If I need freshness, God will bring the restoration and freshness unto me. It's about seeking him to do that. So if you are in a similar position, time as me, where you are finding yourself overwhelmed by the things in life, and it can be great things, honestly. I think that's the hardest time to admit to ourselves that we are overwhelmed or that we're struggling, when everything that's happening is great. And it's like, why don't I feel great if this is great? But it's just being honest with yourself and taking the time to prioritize you again, right? Remembering to be present and to enjoy and live in the now. Tomorrow isn't promised to you, so we can plan for tomorrow, but we live in today. So really, I hope that this episode encourages you guys to know that just because you're on the edge doesn't mean you've fallen. And so honestly, you're kind of in the best or not necessarily the worst position you can be, because we can walk off that ledge. And so I hope that today's episode encourages you to walk a little bit back off that edge. Know that it's not impossible, that you are able to, and to give yourself that time and that grace to reset. I promise you, the things that are for you and that you are stewarding, and the opportunities that are for you, you will receive them. They're not going anywhere as long as you ensure that you are in the best place where you need to be to steward them. So I truly hope that you guys enjoyed today's conversation. And if you have any tips on how to prevent burnout, how to walk back off that ledge and not fully fall off the edge, please comment it down below. I would love to hear what you have to say. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of Still Learning.